Hello and welcome to Bill Swerski's Tournament Talk. I am not Bill Swerski. He is MIA. We have no idea what has happened to Bill Swerski. We don't know. We haven't seen him in forever. Thomas Senna usually fills in and holds down the fort here at Tournament Talk, but he is still licking his wounds from his Chicago Bears being kicked out of the playoffs a few weeks ago. So we don't know where Thomas is either. So I'm Gary Seath, and I'm running things here for this episode of Bill Swerski's Tournament Talk. We are talking about our favorite Olympic SNL moments. I am joined by my partner at the Not Ready for Primetime Project, Brad Robinson. Hey, Brad.
Hey, buddy. Thanks for doing this. I got to say, hosting this show is like being the drummer for Spinal Tap. So hopefully you survive.
Hopefully. Either way, I'm okay. The other folks on the panel, we have Bill Kenny from the Saturday Night Network. Bill, thanks for coming back.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is such a fun topic. I'm so glad you guys came up with this. I actually prefer the Winter Olympics because there's nothing else going on. Once football's over, I got nothing until spring training. So I've got a month to watch luge and curling and stuff. And SNL has done a really good job over the years kind of covering, especially the Winter Olympics, probably because they're on at the same time as opposed to 2 months later and that kind of stuff. So happy to be here.
Yeah, I was thinking about the Winter Olympics too, and they're just not on in the summer, so you don't get as many sketches. It's not as fun. We are also joined by the queen of spreadsheets, Kirsten Ryla, sporting, people listening can't see this, but sporting a very nice mustache, better than pretty much anyone else's on the panel, I think.
I got the memo, because Jeremy, you have a mustache, right?
Well, not really, actually, no. I just got like the beard and the gray, but if I would have known, I would have shaved it to match you, Kirsten. So I didn't get the memo.
And let's be clear, I'm not a lady with a natural mustache. I am wearing a very ridiculous stick-on mustache. We're not making fun of my facial hair. That'd be rude. No, I've got a
That would not be a fun way to kick off the episode.
No, nobody needs to get to know me that way. It's a giant, fuzzy, stick-on mustache called the Outlaw because I wanted to get in the spirit of this tournament talk.
Bill's got the sweatshirt on. He kind of looks like a Bears sweatshirt, too, so it's working.
How dare you, sir? It's Dodgers.
Dodgers?
Yes.
All right. We're not going to get into
I'm in spring mode. Come on. We're not
going to get into baseball. Like, if I could go down a rabbit hole and Brad will get angry. So we'll just move on. Our final panelist tonight is the co-host of two very interesting and fun podcasts. One, you've heard us talk about before on this podcast many times, Pop Culture 5. And the other is Tables, Ladders, and Conversations. Jeremy Dove, thanks for coming back, buddy.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here. And, since my partner in crime from Pop Culture 5, Thomas Senna, can't be here, he gave me a call yesterday and said, I need you to make sure that, for Bill, that you keep these guys in line here. And I'm always the voice of reason when I come on Tournament Talk.
Yeah.
So
a lot of
Thomas
people
made
say
sure,
that. Mm-hmm, sure.
Yeah, that's why Thomas wanted me to be here. So, he's proud of his Bears and the season that they had, but it was a tough loss to the Rams. But despite him being, happy but in mourning, he still called to say, I care about Bill. I care about Tournament Talk. Hold down the fort for me, Jeremy. And I said, you got it, buddy. So I'm here.
That's good. I'm glad that he, puts all of his trust in you. He has zero trust in the rest of us. That's fair.
That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here.
This tracks.
So we were talking about the Olympics. Bill brought it up. SNL does a lot more Winter Olympic sketches, clearly, obviously, than they do summer. Kirsten, do you have a preference as a viewer, summer or Winter Olympics? Which one do you like better?
As a Canadian, generally it's winter.
Yeah.
Because there is more activity for us Canadians to watch. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite event, Jeremy?
For the Winter Olympics?
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I'm definitely prefer summer over winter, but definitely the hockey. Yeah, I'm more of the hockey is where I'll go first.
The hockey's so good in the Olympics.
Yeah. So hockey, and then Lindsey Vonn is always fun to watch. So the fact that she came back, I'm hyped for that. But can't go wrong with the hockey.
Kirsten, being a Canadian, are you obligated to watch all of the hockey matches?
Yeah, I think that's something we all agree to. as a child. You have to sign documents. I mean, obviously we watch it, but I'm Dutch and Finnish, so I do watch the Finns also. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And they always have strong hockey teams.
They really do. Yeah.
Bill, what's your favorite Winter Olympic event?
I gotta say, probably the luge. I think that's such an interesting event that they have with. I mean, and we were just talking off air about how SNL did a great Olympic sketch just last night, and it was about the luge. And there's something about people going 1,000 miles an hour on an icy ramp that's just thrilling to watch. Like, yeah, so that's probably it. That and curling, because I mean, these are things you don't see any other time. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The luge scares the crap out of me.
It's amazing
stupid,
that nobody's
right?
ever gone off the side of that thing, like into the wintry mix of wherever they are.
I'm sure someone has.
I think they have.
We just don't know about it.
Yeah.
Get Claudine Laget on the phone.
Brad, I don't know if the rest of you know this. In fact, you probably don't. But Brad was an athlete. He may still consider himself to be. I don't know. How close were you, Brad, to trying out for the Olympics? Brad was a very competitive high jumper.
Yeah, I kind of reached my peak in college, so not very. I wasn't making the Olympics.
But you jumped. What was your highest? 6'8"?
6'8".
6'8". That's insane.
That's really impressive.
What do you think you could jump now?
5'8".
Brad, what's your favorite Winter Olympic sport?
Gotta go skiing. It's insane. They go like 60 miles per hour on 2 little pieces of plastic. It's amazing they don't get killed.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy. Even when I'm going skiing by myself and I'm not skiing like they are, there are times where I like get going and I'm like, oh crap, this is too fast. I should not be doing this.
Has anyone been to an Olympics?
I have not.
No.
Have you?
Yeah, I've been to one. I should have gone to 2. Gosh, this is 30 years ago. I went to Salt Lake. I got to watch Canada win the hockey game in Canada House, which was pretty incredible. And I should have gone to Sydney, Australia, but I didn't. But I helped coordinate some events that were happening there that were very Canadian.
No, that's really
Nice.
cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's coming back to Salt Lake in a few years, so maybe you can go back.
Yeah, we did a concert. It was with Labatt Beer, obviously. This is going to sound so Canadian. And the Tragically Hip.
Oh, yes.
And then when we were in Sydney, we opened Moose Lodge with Labatt Beer and Blue Rodeo. Yeah. So very
Nice.
Canadian. Yeah, it was fun. It was good.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into our tournament. For our new listeners, here's how it works. We have a bracket that the panel has come up with the top 12 Olympic sketches on SNL. This could be anything with an Olympic athlete, either as a host or a cameo, or an Olympic-themed sketch or a competition, something Olympic-themed. I think it was pretty loose. So that's how we came up with this. We have 4 brackets, like I said. 12 sketches made it. So that means that each quadrant of the bracket has one sketch that got the bye. So we'll go through this and we'll vote. If the voting comes in tied at 2, I get the tiebreaker vote. Let's get into it. Our first matchup of the night features the number 12 seed, Swimming Lesson from season 32, episode 3, versus the number 5 seed, the All Drug Olympics from season 14, episode 1. So Swimming Lessons is Will Forte wants to take swimming lessons so he can compete in the 2008 Olympics in Beijing. And John C. Reilly plays Doug Frangello, the swimming instructor who believes in years of land training before you get into the pool. The All Drug Olympics is a weekend update feature that takes us to Kevin Nealon, who reports live from Bogota, Colombia, so we can witness Sergey Akhmundov, played by Phil Hartman, as he tries to more than triple the current clean and jerk record and instead pulls his arms off. Jeremy, let's start off with you. Who do you like in this matchup?
I have to go with the All Drug Olympics, to be quite honest. I was disappointed rewatching Swimming Lessons. I really didn't dig that sketch. I know got 2 heavy hitters with Will Forte and John C. Reilly, but it just kind of left me wanting more. Where I liked all drug Olympics gets to the heart of what I think is a good SNL Olympic sketch, which is giving that sense of drama that the Olympics is known for, the storytelling that we've seen for all these years, but then bringing that comedy right there. And I think it gets right to the point. So I'm going with all drug Olympics for me.
All right. That's one for all drug Olympics. Kirsten, where do you fall on this one?
I also vote for all drug Olympics. Swimming lesson, you get excited because you love John C. Reilly. We love Will Forte. And it seems, like it was going to be hilarious, but the rewatch was not as great. It's about 6 minutes long. It's really long. And, it started to devolve a little bit. And it was, the discomfort is the joke, but it didn't, I don't know, we'd kind of clocked where it was going and it didn't get too exciting for me. Whereas the Weekend Update, All Drug Olympics, first of all, everyone has had a conversation about wanting to see an All Drug Olympics and what would happen. The fact that it's in Colombia, hilarious.
Yeah.
And it's classic. I rewatched that with a friend today and she had forgotten about the arms. And so seeing that fake blood and those stringy bits coming out and the comment, he doesn't have much pain right now, but tomorrow he's really going to feel that. It's
a
just,
great line.
Yeah, one idea. It's clean. There's no clutter. It was, absurd, but Phil Hartman selling that absurdity as just clear professionalism is what's so funny. I wish it was longer. Like there's so much more they could have done, and they probably would have done that today if they had done that sketch. It's always in the clips. So that to me is a clear winner, even though I love Reilly and Forte. No, drugs are the winner.
We won't clip that and share that on social, but
this mustache is making me act crazy.
Brad, what's your take on this?
I agree. Swimming lesson it's so awkward. It's so bizarre. And while it's always fun to see Will Forte, I've got to go all drug Olympics. It did have some laugh out loud beats. John C. Reilly, strap it in. And Will Forte literally straps his body to John C. Reilly's body. And my biggest laugh out loud moment was he's like, hold on a second. I got to adjust my penis. And he's like reaching behind. So, but all drug Olympics, I mean, it's dare I say perfect? Like you said, Kirsten, it's only 90 seconds. It's super short. They get in and get out and they do the job. I think Dennis Miller's setup is great for it as a Weekend Update piece. Yeah. Like he introduces it really great. It's barely one joke, but it's such a good joke. And they deliver so well on it that it's an easy first round victory.
Bill, would this have been a clean sweep for you?
It would, for many of the reasons that everybody just said. The swimming lesson starts so hot and you really have a feeling that it's going to go somewhere. And then you get the 2-minute crawl at the end with them just bouncing around. And, this is the button that we get today, but it's just this, it's 40 years later and he's in the Paralympics. Isn't that hilarious? Like, this piece with Phil, for all of his accomplishments on SNL, was only on Weekend Update, I believe, twice. And this was one of those times. He did Sinatra about 7 or 8 years later. And this. And, kids, if you haven't watched old SNL, they didn't always do these bloody jokes as they do now. Like every week, it's a blood fest on SNL these days. This was a shock, and you can hear it in the audience reaction as his arms come popping off. I showed it to my daughter today for the first time, and she had the same reaction. So I think the shock of it, the humor of it, the quickness of it, it's easy win.
Yeah, it is a great sketch. I forgot about that 2-minute crawl at the end of the swimming lesson sketch. It really goes on and on. Yeah. It kind of drags it out. Well, that's a clean sweep for the All Drug Olympics. They'll be taking on the Jason Priestley Cold Open in the next round. That'll be an interesting matchup. Looking forward to that. In our next quadrant, we have the number 9 seed, the Heterosexual Figure Skating Championships from season 39, episode 12, going up against Olia Pavlovsky, also from season 39, episode 12. So we have 2 sketches from the same show. The first one is the Cold Open with Taran Killam playing Scott Hamilton and Cecily Strong playing his co-host Tara Lipinski. They show us highlights from the heterosexual figure skating championships where we see Bobby Moynihan, Jay Farrow, and Beck Bennett all compete without much grace at all. Olia Pavlovsky is from the same episode as I mentioned. It's a Weekend Update desk piece where Kate McKinnon plays Olia Pavlovsky, a Russian woman who cannot believe that the Olympics are being hosted in Sochi, Russia. Kirsten, what's your take on this matchup?
I at first thought that I would like the figure skating because there were more people to laugh at. It seemed, like it would be a real cut up. But once the joke landed on that, they mostly circled it. And it was very funny. It was funny to see like some great joke writing in there, like Jay Farrow's character wishes he could have worn regular shoes. And they're falling down and, humorous. What else did I write this one? He does the bunny hop. They're pulling the bag of combos out instead of doing an actual figure skating combo, sliding around on his butt. And then, of course, Dino is played by Beck, and he's harassing the Applebee's waitress who's subbed in for the female partner, Kate McKinnon. And he's faking an injury, trying to kiss her. He gets the upskirt photo. I mean, there's some great moments there, but Olia was a defining moment. It's where Kate started to really develop kind of these characters that would become one of her memorable performances or types of performances, whether it was political or other characterization. And this was so deliberately constructed, Olia, and it wasn't loud, it wasn't big, but it was real precision, accent and detail and like smart, funny one-liners, right? So quotable, right? This is where she's, I want to go throw myself into the sea, but the line was too long. I dated a real dog, but he's the top lawyer in my village. The way she's laughing, like, and then she met the guy on Timber, the app where, you climb a tree and then the suitor comes, chops the trees down, and if he catches you, you're married, and if you don't, you die. So I'm gonna go with Olia, if you couldn't tell, because it to me became a real milestone for the type of performance we'd see from Kate, and that is rewatchable, while figure skating sadly isn't.
Jeremy, what's your take?
The heterosexual figure skating started off good with, honestly, Bobby Moynihan. When he first went, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And then it fell off to me after him. Like seeing Jay Farrow and Beck, I was like, it's not good. Where Olia was just great. I love the chemistry Kate and Seth had, the back and forth, and even when Seth asked at the end about, are you dating? And then, oh, you're fishing. Like, you must be hungry. Like I thought it was just hilarious. And Kirsten nailed it, just what Kate was doing with that. And, like, you really saw what she would become, an all-time great cast member with doing a sketch like that. So, for me, it's hands down Olia.
Bill, where do you fall on this one?
Yeah, I'm going to disagree. I think the heterosexual figure skating is a little bit better for me. Kate is an not only all-time cast member, but all-time Weekend Update correspondent. And she did this a lot. And I think that kind of has diminishing returns for me. Even though this is only the second time she has done it, the fact that, she ended up doing it a lot more. And they're all very samey. While very funny, I don't know, something about the way, Bobby especially was the superstar, as Jeremy just said.
Yeah.
But I love the Beck part too. He plays such a good slime bag, and him getting very handsy, but going wide right and like faking the injury, laying on the ground. And Kate comes over. Kate doesn't even get a last name. She's just the Applebee waitress. Like, why did she agree to do this? I'm in the weeds with how this happened. Yeah, I don't know. They're both very much a moment in time from that Olympics and all the talk that was going on with his anti-gay policies, Putin. And, so both of these cover that in a different way. But I think the heterosexual figure skating is a little bit funnier.
All right. Brad, now, where do you fall on this?
I have to go with Kate McKinnon on Weekend Update. I think for everything Kirsten and Jeremy said, I agree. I want to hold off a lot of my comments on that sketch because I am genuinely intrigued to see what it does in the next round, and it might need some arguing on its behalf. The heterosexual figure skating championship, I agree, Jeremy. It started off really well, and it gradually got worse and worse. I enjoyed the Jay Farrow bit, though, as somebody who doesn't know how to ice skate. And that's something I should say in watching all these sketches recently. I am amazed at the number of people who are on SNL who could ice skate. Bobby Moynihan, Beck Bennett, we'll talk about, like, there's a lot of people who know how to ice skate on this show. And so, like I said, Jay Farrow, someone who couldn't ice skate, I did appreciate how he's just like shuffling through the cones, and then he falls on his butt and does the butt shimmy to get off the ice. So I did think that was funny. And the other thing I appreciated from heterosexual figure skating championship is watching the evolution of the Scott Hamilton impressions that we're going to talk about tonight, as Taran Killam is going to be the third person we've seen do Scott Hamilton. So I did enjoy that. But as a piece, I think it gets blown out of the water.
Yeah, I had that note about Scott Hamilton too, so we'll talk about him later. Bill, anything else you want to add to this since you voted for heterosexual Olympics or figure skating? Sorry.
No, I mean, I have no problem with Olia moving on. As I said, I think it is a good piece, and Kate's amazing. But I don't know. It was, like I said, just a little bit funnier to me. Very close, but I had to go with that.
It's a tight 8-9 matchup that the panel put together, so it makes sense. Honestly, I'm very happy that it didn't come to a tiebreaker because I was not sure which way I was going to go on this. And you all made good arguments. Next round, Olia Pavlovsky will be facing off against synchronized swimming in the next round. So that's a big matchup. Going over to our third quadrant, we have the number 11 seed, the Claudine Longet Invitational from season 1, episode 18. It will be going up against the number 6 seed, Little Chocolate Donuts from season 3, episode 6. So the Claudine Longet Invitational is Chevy and Jane as Tom Tryman and Jessica Antler Dance. And they are the commentators on basically just stock ski footage of amateurs falling down the slopes with intermittent gunshots. And they are all accidentally shot by Claudine Longet, who had been arrested for accidentally shooting her boyfriend, who was an Olympic skier at the time. And that's going up against Little Chocolate Donuts. John Belushi plays an athlete, a decathlete. He's competing in the decathlon, who talks about his training fuel, Little Chocolate Donuts. Brad, I'm just going to start with you. This is your era.
It's like this is my bracket.
Yeah. What say you?
I mean, unsurprisingly, I easily say Little Chocolate Donuts. One of the most iconic pre-tapes and Olympic bits and anything of the original era of all time, I want to say. But I was excited to see Claudine Longet Invitational. I did not expect to see this making the tournament. So excited to see it sneak in there. I think it's a really great example of what the show would do that first season. How edgy they would be, the risks they would take, how far they would go. I completely missed, I don't remember until I watched it again the other day, that Jane's character is Jessica Antler Dance. I missed the whole Antler Dance reference from O'Donoghue. And it's funny. It's like that kind of, it's all found footage where, she just got shot. He just got shot again. He got accidentally shot by Claudine Longet. So it's a fun piece. And I'm always happy to talk about O'Donoghue, but at the end of the day, it's easily chocolate donuts for me.
Bill, what's your take on this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, again, this is very close to me because I think Claudine Longet is probably one of the ballsiest things that SNL has ever done. In fact, you guys all know, and the audience may know, this was the only time SNL ever apologized for a sketch because Claudine was ex-wife of Andy Williams. He called and complained. They came on the next week and apologized. So, it's an interesting. I think this is Chevy at his best. I mean, his he's down for good this time.
She got him
so perfect. But that all being said, Little Chocolate Donuts, as Brad just said, like this is something. Every commercial parody package that they've put together for the last 51 years has included this. John, the pudgy little wannabe, running, cigarette in hand, chocolate donut in the other. Marv Albert's iconic voice, one of the few times he appears on SNL in a voice cameo. Yeah, I've got to go Little Chocolate Donut.
All right. Jeremy, where does your vote go?
Slam dunk, Little Chocolate Donuts. I mean, Claudine was really good to watch, and Chevy, that's a really good, sketch that people don't think about that shows why Chevy was the breakout star that first season, just his talent. But, I mean, when you watch the best of Belushi or you watch like highlights of the first 5 years, you're going to see Little Chocolate Donuts. It's that iconic. Bill said it with having Marv Albert do it. And I think it's great. Like, when you watch him, like John, win the race, like that's funny. But then if this stopped right there, it's hilarious. But in the cut to him, like sit at the table with the Little Chocolate Donuts and the cigarette and going, it gives me just the sugar I need. Like he just nails that, and that's what I think makes a great like Olympic sketch. It's like we all know those like Wheaties type commercials after like someone wins the Olympics or like, a decathlon, and they nail that tone just perfectly, but put that comedic twist on it. So. Got to go with Little Chocolate Donuts.
Kirsten, would this have been a clean sweep for you?
Absolutely. Yeah. Little Chocolate Donuts for the win. For so many reasons, I feel like I might need to save them for this next round because it's coming up against something pretty impressive.
Yeah, it will match up against Lillehammer 94 in the next round. Yeah, that'll be a tough matchup. One of the things I think, Bill, you mentioned it, just how good Chevy is in this. I think it plays really well with the gunshots that they have coming in too. It makes it feel really organic, as though it's like, oh, wow, yeah, they got shot.
Yeah, it's crazy, and like that footage is amazing too. Like I've always wondered how they got that footage because it's all on the same mountain. Did they pay people to just like fall like that? I don't know. I've that's one of those weird things that goes through my mind when I watch something like that.
The color commentary is incredible. It really is. It is kind of hard to watch though, because you realize that this woman, and you didn't use air quotes when you said accidentally, which I think we all need to do.
Yes.
Accidentally shot someone.
I don't want complaints from Andy Williams, Kirsten. I don't need him calling.
Well, luckily this is a podcast, not video, so no one can see me doing them. So it's all hearsay. Yes. Yeah, it was good but awkward. Chocolate Donuts for the win. Absolutely. That could air now and it would hit just as hard.
I agree.
Yes,
Unchanged.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
It would. Our final bracket is our 10 seed versus our 7 seed. 10 seed is Carrie and Kippy Strug from season 22, episode 1, going up against the number 7 seed, Leslie Jones, on the 2018 Winter Olympics from season 43, episode 14. So the Carrie and Kippy Strug spot is another Weekend Update spot at the desk with Chris Kattan playing Kippy Strug, who, along with his sister Carrie Strug, speaks with Norm Macdonald about Carrie's successful Olympic run that summer. And Leslie Jones is also at the desk with Colin Jost, talking about how wonderful her experience at the Olympics in South Korea were. And she brings on gold medalist from the U.S. women's hockey, Hillary Knight. Bill, what's your take on this matchup?
I think that I'm going to go with Carrie Strug because this is such an iconic moment in American Olympics history. I don't think she broke her ankle. I think she like tore something and she had to be carried off. She finishes the routine. So this is one of those moments that kind of lives in history as far as our Olympics go here in the United States. And she was such an adorable story. Like she comes on, she gets a squeaky Disney voice. And of course you're going to pair her with Kattan because that's the perfect person. They're the same height. He can do that voice. He's done that voice a million times. Norm losing it as all of this is going on, barely being able to get through it. While Leslie is great at the update desk, I've got to go with Carrie Strug here.
All right. Jeremy, who are you taking?
So I see we got to the play-in game here. So this is, we always need it in every tournament. So this is it. This is it. This is definitely a play-in game. Yeah, this one was oof. 2 rough sketches, just 2 rough ones.
I love when you get so upset when things
it was just rough, man. Like the funniest part with the Carrie Strug one was Norm. Like looking at him was like funny, and then the Leslie Jones one, I was like, this is why I just never. I like Leslie Jones as a person. I just never.
I was gonna ask
feeling her on SNL, like because it was just like I don't think she was set up right or served well on the show because it just wasn't good. These are two just not good sketches. If I had to throw a vote, I guess watching Norm laugh, I'll go with Carrie Strug. But this is definitely a play-in matchup, and Mormons on the Slopes has an easy slam dunk for me. Like that's an easy whoever they get.
I'll just pencil you in right now for Moments on the Slopes in the next round.
Yes, sir. Oof.
Oh, Kirsten, which way are you going with this?
Well, I'm going to make a case, Jeremy, for why you should be gentler on Leslie Jones. Because the Carrie Strug Kippy one for me was short, kind of one note. He has the voice. They look the same. There actually wasn't a lot going on. She seemed to really be sincere about it, and it almost made it more awkward. But Leslie Jones, I know, Billy, you said that it was a moment for Carrie, but this was a moment for television coming into the real world. Her actual fandom turned into her being invited to go to the Olympics and report. Like, this was someone's pure energy and excitement that had real world actions. And that to me is a real moment. You know, there were some funnies in there, riding the hash pipe and penalty box Jones. But it was this like authentic fan chaos that left the desk and turned into something on social media. So it, to me, feels like a milestone when social media and the impact of it and how the show and social media kind of started working together, how that kind of broke the fourth wall in a way. A little bit less about the joke, sure. Although having Hillary Knight come on and saying "use a bitch" to Colin was pretty amazing.
So she was pretty good.
Did I convince you at all, Jeremy, that it was not you don't hate it as much?
Well, I will counter in that I like Leslie Jones. I think SNL failed Leslie Jones. She was not bad. I think the show didn't do her. And to your point, that it's a cool real life moment, but I think you could have done so many other things. I'd rather see you like do a segment with her like live being there, something funny. Like it just kind of was rambling and scattered, and I don't think it set it up. Besides having like Hillary come on, like that was like the big to do. I just think like you had it right there, and the writers and everyone let Leslie down. So like that's how I like Leslie Jones. I just think she, for someone who has that much talent, wasn't put in the best situations on the show, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I think that's happened before. But if you put these two together, and you're playing Switzerland, you're still are you giving Leslie a little bit two high fives, not one? Come on.
I mean, I guess. Come
on.
If I'm honest, I got to be honest, Kirsten. I laughed at Norm. If I like, what made me laugh was Norm's, which Norm's great for that. But I didn't have. So it was like one like half a laugh to zero laughs. So I'm gonna go with the half a laugh from the Carrie Strug sketch.
Zero laughs.
Yeah.
Harsh.
But hey, you were very compelling, though. You were very compelling.
Brad, where did you get more laughs from?
The last 5 minutes. Jeremy, you do a podcast about like pop culture or something like that, right? Something like that. And like on that show, like sometimes you do like years. You like look at a year in pop culture, right? Every once in a while.
Yeah.
All right. So when you do 1996, give us all a call because I feel you're going to talk about Carrie Strug and what a big moment this was in pop culture at that time. A lot of things. It's got to be top 5. It's got to be essential. Anyway, regardless.
Maybe.
Enough plugs.
A lot of things happened in 96.
I liked both these pieces. I really did, actually, to counter Jeremy. I thought the Carrie Strug thing, I do think it's you can't undersell how big a moment this was.
Yes.
In the country and her in the Olympics battling back to win. And you made that point. There's a great 18-second break where Norm doesn't know what to say, and he's got to gather himself, and the audience goes from laughter to applause, and they're just really enjoying it. And I did like Mark McKinney when he comes in at the end, and he picks up Carrie Strug, and then Catan's got like his foot falls asleep, and she's like, shake it off. Shake it off. And he's like yelling at him. Like, you could have ended the joke with him picking her up and just walking off, but they added something extra to it, which I really liked. That all being said, I'm going with Leslie Jones. And I love Leslie Jones, and I really love Leslie Jones on the Weekend Update desk. I think that's where she was her best on the show. I agree with you, Jeremy. The show didn't give her many options, but when she got to be Leslie Jones on the desk, that's when she's shown. And her energy on this is amazing. She loves hockey. It's violence on ice. No one told me about this. And I give them bonus points for getting a great cameo. The U.S. women's hockey player, Hillary Knight, comes out, and I think she does a great job when she calls Jost the bitch. So I think this is a great little segment. I got to go Leslie Jones, and I love to throw it at Gary to have to make a decision on this.
Oh, that's right. I get the tiebreaker now. I have to decide. I will say, I was definitely leaning one way coming into this, and then I watched it, and I was like, oh, no, I definitely am leaning the other way. I'm definitely voting for Leslie Jones.
All right. All right.
It has nothing to do with the fact that I can't stand Chris Kattan.
Sure.
But I do love Norm Macdonald. And I just feel like Jeremy said, I found Norm to be the funniest part of that. And when he's not supposed to be the funniest part of it, that makes me want to go the other way. And I really did actually. I like Brad. I enjoyed Leslie and her energy. And I think Hillary Knight was great. To just bring on this Olympian was awesome. So.
I just want to say,
who run the world?
Oh boy, I just want to say a couple things. I'm stunned that you guys like these sketches so much, stunned. But also, I will defend myself here because this happens on Tournament Talk, and my man Bill Kinney always is the voice of reason. Because what I just said that these two sketches stink is nowhere near as crazy as Gary not liking Chris Kattan. And Bill's face when Gary said that was like, exactly. So I know I get the reputation for mixing it up on here, but I don't think it's justified because usually someone always says something that's way crazier and it just kind of like gets like left alone. But like,
so wait, it's crazy that I don't like Chris Kattan?
Way crazier than that. I don't like these two sketches. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't like Chris Kattan either, Gary.
Yeah, high five.
Yeah.
That is shock. I'm
Hot
confused.
takes.
I'd love to hear more about this. Maybe we can do a Kattan tournament.
Absolutely.
And,
yeah. Let's put up all of the fucking mango sketches. Let's do that. Let's do that for an hour and a half. That'll be fun.
Count me in, Gary. No. I understand.
You and Jeremy can just have the time.
I understand why Catan could be divisive because, but you're talking about an era where there was a lot of recurring characters and they beat them into the ground.
Yeah.
And yes. Catan's were some of the more egregious ones that they did that with. But as a performer, I think he was very
exactly.
good, so.
That's where I go with, yeah.
Well,
But look, I don't know how you guys like these sketches, though. I don't know. Oof.
I agree with you, Jeremy. I found them to be the two weakest sketches of all of the sketches of the tournament for me, for sure.
But I get you guys have a tough job. You need a play-in game. You know, they're like Tulane in the college football. Like, they're getting bounced. So I get it. So it's all good. You know, you need those.
Well, Leslie Jones moves on, and she will be facing Mormons on the Slopes in the next round. So that'll be that. I'm just going to pencil Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy doesn't need to vote, so we'll be good.
That's right.
I'll just write that in there. All right. So now we're down to the final 8. In our first matchup, we have the All Drug Olympics moving on, and they are facing Jason Priestley's Cold Open Olympic figure skating from season 17, episode 13. So this time, Phil Hartman plays Vern Lundquist, and Dana Carvey plays Scott Hamilton. This is our second Scott Hamilton appearance, doing commentary for Jason Priestley's Brian Deming, who's about to take the ice at his chance for the gold, but he can't stay on his feet. Kirsten, how do you feel about this matchup?
We talked about people knowing how to skate. So as soon as Jason Priestley started skating very well, my patrioticness for Canadians and knowing how to skate really shone, because of course he knows how to skate, right?
He's Canadian, right? That dude's Canadian?
Yes, he is. Yeah. Yeah.
Of course
he's not actually from Beverly Hills 90210.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it was great to see that. Him falling started to feel a little too real, and I kept thinking, how is this happening? He could be slicing his own hand off with his own skate at any point. My favorite part of this was Melanie Hutzel's cutaways, the little picture with the flag. And the commentary, like, she drives him every day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, 3 hours, and just her reactions and keeping that smile on was the best part of it. But it could have gone somewhere really exciting, and I don't think it got there. And if I rate this on seeing something like it in clips, I don't. I see Phil Hartman all the time ripping his arms off.
Brad, where are you going with this?
I love all drug Olympics. When we brought this topic up, we were talking to somebody, Gary, right? And we're like, oh, we're going to do all drug Olympics. And everybody mentioned something, and we all mentioned different things. And I mentioned all drug Olympics. Like, this was the first thing that came to my mind. And I love it. I think it's great. And it's almost a perfect 90-second bit. And I hadn't been that familiar with the figure skating cold open, and rewatching it, I really, really liked it. I was amazed at Jason Priestley doing all of his own figure skating, and they set the joke up really great where you watch him take like 2 or 3 falls, and then the sketch turns to just the commentators going, oh, and they keep try to talk, oh, talk, oh. And so like the joke takes a different turn and it still works. And they do a really great job where this sketch could have ended at the end of the routine where they cut back to the ice and Jason Priestley shows up and he's all cut and bloodied and he's like breathing heavily. And the sketch could have ended there. And they actually do a great job where they take it a step further and take it to the post-event interview. And he's catching his breath. And then they show the scores, 0.1, 0.2. It's all works really, really great. And it builds to what I think is a fairly natural Live from New York, where he can't catch his breath, he can't say anything. And then finally, Julia Sweeney, as the interviewer, is like, is there anything you can say? And he says, Live from New York at Saturday Night Live. So putting it into a cold open, I think, elevates it. And I was ready to vote all drug Olympics. And after watching the sketch, I have to go with the cold open figure skating. I thought it worked so well on so many levels.
Wow. You surprised me.
I surprised myself.
Bill, are you going to surprise me?
I may just do that. This is 2 sketches from my generation, my era. And yeah, if you take any of these elements out of this, Melanie as the mother, but especially Phil and Dana as Vern and Scott, I think you lose a lot. And Jason does a fantastic job here. But yes, their whisper voice that everybody knows from the Olympics. Oh, that's going to cost him the gold. And, oh, that was awful. Yeah, he should just quit. Like, and the O's just get more and more like frantic and like, what are they going to do? Yeah, his bloody face at the end. So I'm also going to go with Jason Priestley cold open here as well.
All right. 2-1. Jason Priestley's up on the all drug Olympics. Jeremy, who gets your vote?
Sorry, Gary, we won't be needing you for the tiebreaker. I'm going with Jason Priestley as well. I remember this cold open, and I think, Brad, you nailed it. The fact that this is a cold open like does elevate it to me. And this is one of those examples of why Dana Carvey to me is a top 5 cast member of all time. It's not just like the big sketches that we know him for, but the impression he does of Scott Hamilton and how he just nails it. And from someone who remember seeing Scott Hamilton back when I was watching the Winter Olympics a lot more than I do now, but I still watch it a little bit now. But Scott always kind of had that like likable kind of like voice, but it just seemed like he's an athlete. And like the way just when you see Dana like walk in and just he has the Scott Hamilton balding, and I can say this as a bald brother, like the balding like head, and just he nails that voice, and him and Phil going back and forth with every fall that Jason Priestley has is just classic. So this is one I think that gets overlooked. And to your point, Kirsten, about like the clips and stuff, this should be in the highlight reels way more than it is, in my opinion.
All right. Wow. I'm honestly surprised that the all drug Olympics got beat 3-1 in this round. I kind of thought after Brad went for Jason Priestley, I kind of thought I was going to have to come in and be the tiebreaker.
That's what happens in March Madness. You get some upsets.
That's right. That's right. Technically, it's not an upset because it's the number 4 versus the number 5. So it was a tight matchup in my mind, but not really on the court, I guess. All right, moving on to our second bracket, we have Olya Pavlovsky moving on from the last round, and that is facing off against synchronized swimming from season 10, episode 1. Harry Shearer and Martin Short play brothers Gerald and Lawrence Orbach, who are working with their choreographer Christopher Guest to compete in the Olympics when and if they bring back synchronized swimming. Jeremy, how do you feel about this matchup?
Interesting matchup. I think it's the right choice. Synchronized swimming doesn't mean it's going to win, but being the number 1 seed, I think, is like the correct choice as the favorite. And as much as I loved Kate McKinnon and Olya, I got to go with synchronized swimming. This was classic. I think this is something that you can make a case for is the best thing from that 10th season, that 84-85, when that Steinbrenner year that Ebersol did. I think you can make a strong case that this, for so many strong sketches that season, this might be number 1. And when you have that, it's kind of hard to deny it. When you're for a season that has so many iconic sketches, this might be the top 1. It's just everybody at their best, and what we grew to know those comedy legends as later on, they're giving it to you right here. So I got to go synchronized swimming.
All right. 1-0 synchronized swimming. Brad, which way are you going?
Oh, man, I was hoping I was going to be later because I genuinely don't know. Going into this, I thought synchronized swimming would be a slam dunk. But then after watching the Olya Weekend Update bit, for almost the reverse of what Bill said, I love this piece with her. The writing is just so great. And the fact that it's early in Kate's career, her 3rd season, you're not tired of it yet. This is new, this is fresh. And you can tell she's having fun finding this character. As Bill said, it's only the 2nd time we've seen it. I think Seth does a great job at the desk with the back and forth, which I feel like we don't see that much anymore. And by that much, I mean that well of feeding her questions and playing off each other. It just plays really, really great, which Seth would always do. And to the writing and the point, some of the things we haven't said, her favorite sport as a kid was running away from Angry Wolf. She took the gold and her sister, God rest her soul, took the silver. Just super funny. She does an Amy Winehouse Rehab song joke, which is really funny. There's just so many jokes in this bit, and every single one of them works, which gave me pause because, as Jeremy said, everyone knows synchronized swimming. It's iconic, not only from that season, but from the show in general. And this is one where you see the clips, you see the highlights, but when you watch the whole sketch, there is a lot more to this sketch. And so, I'm trying to go through live versus pre-tape and just some of the stuff you don't remember from the full sketch of synchronized swimming, where the bit with Christopher Guest and they're in the mirrored dance room and there's a water line on the wall. And so they're doing their routine to the water line, which I don't think I know if I've ever realized before. It was just hilarious. And to Kirsten's point, some of the highlights are hard to beat. This is another one where these highlights are hard to beat, but it's the sketch in general. I don't know. I'm going to put my vote at synchronized swimming right now. But I don't know if 2 other people talk if I change my mind. I'm just saying I don't know what 2 other people. I'm putting my vote at synchronized swimming. Let's see what happens.
You know what you could use, Brad? A spreadsheet to help you work through these things.
Yeah, that would be helpful. That's true.
Kirsten, we haven't heard about your spreadsheet yet tonight. What's your spreadsheet saying on this matchup?
This for me is an easy one because synchronized swimming is one of my favorite all-time SNL pre-tapes and moments ever. Martin Short, Canadian, with his brilliant giant forehead and kind of simple stare, is hilarious. And they do it so sincerely. This is widely considered to be like a pre-tape that begot all pre-tapes, right? You've got great talent. They're taking it seriously. It's well produced. You like think of what Christopher Guest was doing at that time, and then having him come on as this choreographer who's completely wacky. And then he wants to kill himself with a Vegematic. Like there are little Easter eggs in there, right? That water line in the Vegematic. This synchronized swimming and, the dry explanation when Harry Shearer is explaining how he told his wife that he quit the accounting firm and he's going to go fulfill this dream he has. And it is, of course, I'm sure she took it as the stupidest thing she's ever heard, but he is absolutely committed to it as much as they both were committed to the bit. And it was commitment Olympics. Let's put it that way. And then there are moments like Harry Shearer putting the makeup on, and then you just zoom in on Martin Short's face and he's looking really dumb and he's just looking in the mirror. Like the shorts, the movement, everything about this is complete perfection. And Olya is a very tough competitor, 1000%, but synchronized swimming is it. It is chef's kiss. It is it. So that easily gets my vote.
Bill, would this have been a clean sweep barring Brad changing his vote? Because he did say for now.
The only thing that would make this closer to me is if there was a Catan sketch against this, Gary. I think that would maybe raise the bar a little bit. This isn't close in any way, shape, or form to me for everything that everybody said. But also, this is one of those things, and this is important with SNL. It's a very quotable sketch, and being in all those clip packages all those years. Hey, you, I know you, I know you. I'm not a strong swimmer. Like these are things that just stick with you. But then as Kirsten and Brad both said, like going back and seeing parts of these that you haven't seen 1,000 times, you might have seen 6, 7, 8 times. It's so funny to kind of dive into it. You kind of see the origin story of where Christopher Guest is going to go in his career. You see the best in show, rip Catherine O'Hara, we just lost. This is kind of the seedlings of what his genius is going to become in this. And he's not even the main focus here, but the fact that he's a big part of this, I think this is so easy to me. It's got to move on.
Well, the number 1 seed sweeps the number 8 seed to move on to the semifinals. That was, synchronized swimming is so good. It really is. Like you said, Bill, something so quotable. Hey, you, I know. No, you're not mad at him.
He's just there.
He's just there. All right, moving on to our third bracket. We've got the number 6 seed, Little Chocolate Donuts, going up against the number 3 seed, Lilyhammer 94. So this is a third Scott Hamilton impression. Poor Scott Hamilton.
Quite possibly the best, though. Spade's pretty good at this guy.
Yes. This time it's David Spade playing Scott Hamilton with Phil Hartman again as Vern Lundquist. And they're providing commentary for couples skating of Anna and Wolfgang Wormadunger, played by Nancy Kerrigan, who was the host of this episode, and Chris Farley. Let's start with you, Bill. Lilyhammer 94 versus Little Chocolate Donuts.
Well, because I am such a thorough person, I not only went and watched all these clips when you gave this assignment out, but I watched the Nancy Kerrigan episode in full. I watched the Johnny Mosley. How did he get shut out here? This is crazy. The Johnny Mosley episode. Olympians as hosts aren't great, but the Kerrigan episode is a rough, but this is just so damn good. This is the highlight of the night in a very dodgy season 19 we're in the middle of here. Farley look at his face. He doesn't say a word in this sketch. For a guy who's boisterous, throwing himself through walls, screaming at the top of his lungs as Matt Foley, just the look as he's, kind of doing this come hither thing to Nancy Kerrigan, and then eventually just falling on his ass and can't get up because of the weight gain. And as you said, Scott Hamilton, not only the third time, but the only 3 times that he's ever been parodied on the show, and they're all in this tournament. So that's kind of crazy to think about. yeah, this is another. This is closer because Little Chocolate Donuts is so great, so iconic, one of the best ads of all time. But I think I have to give it to Lillehammer here.
All right, 1-0 Lillehammer. Jeremy, how are you feeling?
I'm always honest on here.
We're aware.
We want that. We want that.
Yeah. When I saw Lillehammer, I thought of like something that we've heard for all these years, how athletic and talented Chris Farley is, and that shines through. But I think what hurts it is having the Jason Priestley like cold open a couple years earlier. I feel like all they did was do that sketch again, but they just piled on Chris Farley being, heavier. So to me, it was kind of low hanging fruit. And I think like if you don't have the Jason Priestley sketch, it would be higher for me. So that's where I kind of like rewatching it. I was like, oh, it's the same thing. And I think David Spade is very good, but not as good as Dana Carvey. And it was tough, but it still can't compete for all those things. Like it just doesn't match up with Belushi and the Little Chocolate Donuts. That Belushi Marv Albert combo is just great. So I gotta go with Little Chocolate Donuts.
All right, 1-1 Lillehammer Little Chocolate Donuts. Kirsten, how are you feeling about these?
This was a close one. I'm feeling this one. I'm also feeling the sweat on this mustache. All right, where's my head at? I had initially thought Little Chocolate Donuts. Lillehammer, Chris Farley is it. Like, you're right. His face is it. That's the best part. She's just being Nancy Kerrigan. She's just skating around him and then doing some skating moves. And this is all him. And yes, you're right. He just starts, falling down again. And there are some great moments here. The fact that they're using Pump Up the Jam as a song is hilarious. Throwing the dummy in the air, hilarious. They do that a lot. This was more vibes than jokes, right? Like you're enjoying Chris Farley's face. We're enjoying again, another great skater. But the perfection of donuts end to end is going to get that across the finish line for me.
All
right. Little Chocolate Donuts.
Yep.
Up 2-1. Brad, are you voting for John Belushi or are you voting against John Belushi?
Yeah, I was. Oh my God. I was so pissed to see this because I knew I was going to have to go Belushi versus Farley this round. And as much as I love chocolate donuts, I think it's iconic. It's where the show found their stride, doing commercial parodies. It's written so great. I think Darren mentioned the reveal after John wins the race and he pulls his hand out from under the desk and he's got the cigarette in his hand and goes for the donuts. Is just classic. It's so good. I love it. Again, it's short. It's 90 seconds. It's kind of all one joke and it still just works so well. But in watching the sketch of Lillehammer, I think I like Lillehammer more. I think I like all the pieces they put into it. I think Hartman and Spade are great. And let's be honest, Spade's just playing Spade. He's not really doing Scott Hamilton. He's doing Spade. But it works really well. It just happens to work. And I think the writing's really good. He talks about the weight gain. Like, what's the biggest hardship? The endurance. He's yet to make it through an entire 4-minute performance yet. And Pump Up the Jam's hilarious. I love watching Farley on skates. He's just really nimble and athletic on it. It's great. And one of the things I really liked about it, and it's something I've appreciated, like as we've watched episodes on our show, it's a really great construct. It's all fully there. And it's a really funny and smart way to play to your host. And as Bill was saying, when your host doesn't have a lot to give you, they found a really great way to take this host who, can do almost nothing else in the episode and give you this stunning remembrance of a sketch. Like what can we do? What do we have to play with? This is it. How can we make the best thing with this? And I think they did that on this sketch. And that's another reason I'm going to go with Lillehammer 94. As much as it kills me to kick, or maybe possibly kick Belushi out of this tournament.
Wow. Stunning for me to hear you vote.
Full of surprises this episode, right?
You really are,
it
man.
Really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, I'm surprised that Jeremy is surprised that I don't like Chris Kattan.
Yeah. I'm with Bill that I think the show, just like Leslie Jones, did him disservice, but he's very talented. He's a good performer. So you're straight up.
Yeah, because I mean, I've seen him everywhere since he left SNL. He's great.
Are we back on
He's
Chris
amazing.
Kattan again?
Yes.
What has this turned into?
I just like bickering with Jeremy. That's what
it's
this
fun.
turns into.
It is fun.
All right. Okay. So back to the bracket. We have Lilyhammer versus Little Chocolate Donuts 2-2, and I'm the tiebreaker. Oof. Brad, this is the sketch that I brought up when we were talking about the Olympics. You brought up,
right?
I think you brought up All Drug Olympics, and I brought up Farley on skates.
Mm-hmm.
And watching it, it's funny because I had the exact same reaction, Jeremy, that you did when I watched this earlier today, because I watched the Jason Priestley cold open first, and then I watched this a little while after, and I had the same thought, Jeremy. Where I was like, this is the same joke, just a few years later.
Right.
With a different setup and everything, but yeah, Farley falling down, and I mean, seeing him skate the way he did is amazing. Like, he's just so athletic and light on his feet for being such a big man. It's really a treat to watch him skate. But I think I'm going to go with Little Chocolate Donuts.
Yes, great call.
You guys really?
Well, can I say this real quick?
Go ahead.
I just want to say to what Gary said, I think that's what makes it worse, is the fact that they're making fun of Farley when really it's nothing to really laugh at. It's impressive what he's doing, on there. As someone who's not a legit professional skater, he's on there with Nancy Kerrigan, one of the best in the world. That's also kind of hurt it, where I was just I'm not really seeing. I see the joke, but I'm more blown away by what he's doing, not laughing at it. I'm impressed, so that hurt it.
I agree. I think they could have found something else to go with other than doing that same joke. And like I said, if I had not,
you guys
watched
really
Jason
think it's the same joke?
Absolutely, it is.
It is at the end of that. It is the same joke where
Yeah,
Farley
Pratt
falls
falls
down,
on
he
the
falls
ice.
into the wall. Yeah.
Yep.
Can't get up. And like Jeremy said, it's the different setup that he's put on all this weight, and that's why. But I just felt like they could have done something different than what they did.
If there's a world where Jason Priestley cold open doesn't exist,
Yeah.
do
Right.
you vote differently, and do you change this over that? Because you're basing your votes on the fact that you saw a sketch. It's not like Saturday Night Live has never repeated a joke or a sketch before. So if you're disqualifying it because you saw a different joke before.
No. I think it's because it also wasn't as funny as I remembered, in my opinion. And I don't know if it's because I had just seen the Jason Priestley or not, but my memory of the laughs weren't there like I thought they were. Whereas Little Chocolate Donuts is still as funny as I remember it, however many years after I see it. And I can watch that one again and again and again. And to your point, it's 90 seconds and it's good and it's tight and it hits on everything. And Lilyhammer, yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
It wasn't, it's not as tight for me.
No, to your question, Brad, no. Maybe I would think a little bit harder if the Priestley sketch doesn't exist, but honestly, I would still go with Little Chocolate Donuts. I just think, like I said, I'm impressed with what Farley's doing. I don't think it's something to laugh at. So that's just me.
Listen, I'm happy you all just punched John Belushi's ticket to the final, so let's keep on going.
It's really the committee set us up for these tough matchups. It's good and bad. Little Chocolate Donuts are moving on. They're going to face the winner of our next matchup. It is number 7, Leslie Jones on Weekend Update versus Mormons on the Slopes from season 27, episode 12. So this is another cold open, and we're on the downhill skiing at the 2002 Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City, where Kirsten was. This has Amy Poehler playing Tiffany Lane, who's doing her downhill run, and then she is abruptly joined on the slopes by 2 Mormons trying to convert her. They are played by Dan Aykroyd, making a cameo, and Will Ferrell. Brad, how do you feel about this matchup?
Oh, Jesus. People love this Mormons on the Slope sketch, yeah? I'm just asking, I'm asking everyone, I don't love this sketch.
I like it.
It's not a bad sketch. I just feel like this is one everyone talks about, and then when I watch it again, I'm like, oh, is it really that great? That being said, it is a sketch, and there's a lot going on here, as opposed to just Leslie Jones at the desk. I think the camera works really great. Like, technically, this is a really fun piece of the three of them on skis and the camera jostling coupled with the rear projection to make it look like they're skiing, I think is really great. And it was fun to see Seth Meyers get a solo live from New York, which I don't think you get often. And I appreciate it being a cold open. I think it, again, the other sketch we talked about too, the Jason Priestley, it was written well to be a cold open. And it was an interesting way to make fun of the Olympics that year. Like, what do you find ridiculous about the Olympics being in Salt Lake City? This was a very interesting take that you wouldn't expect. So I'm going to go Mormons on the slopes, but I was just I wanted to ask everybody's opinion because I feel like this is like vaulted in people's opinions, and I don't know.
Bill, is it vaulted in your opinion?
It definitely is. And I think it's the genius of three of the all-time greats standing there together in Amy Poehler, Will Ferrell, and special guest Dan Aykroyd. But Dan steals the show. Like, he is just so great at what he's doing here. When Will goes into the whole story about polygamy, and he says, well, it's simply not done anymore. I do it. And he does the little side eye, and he's got that sly Dan Aykroyd smile that you could still see there 25 years after we got to see him for the first time. I think this is one of the best Olympic sketches. Obviously, it's in the bracket here. But, as Jeremy said earlier, the playing team never wins. Number 2 seed, moving on.
Right on, Bill. Right on.
Jeremy, I already have you written down for Mormons on the slopes. Anything you want to add, or are you going to change your vote for some reason?
Hell no, not changing my vote. Hell no. This was easy. I think the easiest one I've ever done on this tournament talk. Ever. Ever. But I do think, Brad, this is a hell of a sketch. And I think it's awesome to see in two of the all-time great utility players in Aykroyd and Ferrell together and just giving you their fastballs. And Will's great setting up Dan. Like, they just play off each other really well. And Amy just saying, I'm doing this race. Like, just like, everyone played it great. And even Seth at the end, I loved how he came in and like everyone just nails it. So this to me is a great sketch. And this was an easy one.
Kirsten, is this a clean sweep?
It is a clean sweep, yes. It's a great sketch. And yeah, sure, when you see them all on screen, we just get so excited. So it has some of that energy that you see Dan Aykroyd, and you're right, and then Will Ferrell, and of course Amy, and that alone gets me excited just to see them all on screen performing together. What I enjoy so much about it is this objection handling, right? Anytime you are in a kind of salesy or pitch type situation, you're taught objection handling. When someone says no thanks, you're going to counter with this. And they go through the motions of so many of these scenarios that it's really fun to watch that kind of click through. So the Dan and Will characters had very funny ways to handle the rejection they were getting from her. And at the end, the go to hell or, good luck in hell is hilarious. I thought it was great. Apparently Britney Spears was supposed to be the role that Amy played. And I'm glad Amy did it because I like the way she played it with those two. So it's an easy one for me to say Mormons on the slopes. Yeah.
All right. Another sweep, this time by Mormons on the slopes beating Leslie Jones.
Yes.
They move on to the semifinals. So our semifinals are set. We have the number 1 seed, synchronized swimming, going up against the number 4 seed, the Jason Priestley Cold Open. And we have the number 2 seed, Mormons on the slopes, going up against the number 6 seed, Little Chocolate Donuts. We're going to start on the left side of our bracket for everyone keeping score at home. That's the number 1 synchronized swimming versus number 4 seed, Jason Priestley Cold Open. Bill Kenny, where does your heart lie?
My heart lies with, you guessed it, Frank Stallone. Let's talk about the music here with synchronized swimming. Far From Over, Flight of the Valkyries, everything else we've already said about synchronized swimming. This has to move on. As great as the Jason Priestley Open is, this, again, for everything we've already said, plus the music, I think, really elevates this. So this is moving on to the finals for me.
All right. Jeremy, how are you feeling about this matchup?
Hey, Jason Priestley had a great run. The Final Four, nothing to hold your head down about at all. Did so great that it led to Gary and I looking at a known Farley sketch in a different way. So hats off to Jason Priestley. Bravo. But your Cinderella run ends in the Final Four. You're like Butler years ago and stuff like that. Like, you're done, but it was a great run. Synchronized swimming, for all the reasons we said, it's too iconic to at least not be in the finals. It's got to be in the finals. So that's my vote.
All right. Kirsten?
Getting to see Harry Shearer and Christopher Guest in what essentially was just a little mini mockumentary, we then would get things like Guffman and Best in Show and all that. So having that moment in SNL history is so awesome. And listen, Canadians in each, so I'm still happy. And synchronized swimming is that's the one.
Brad, is synchronized swimming a clean sweep for you?
Yes, synchronized swimming. As much as I liked the cold open with Jason Priestley, I talked up Ola so much in the last round just because I was so surprised how much I enjoyed it. But synchronized swimming it's hilarious. The highlights, we've talked a little bit today, like highlights versus sketches. The highlights of this sketch are some of the best. They're hard to be beat. You cannot beat some of the highlights from this sketch. But watching the sketch in full, which is kind of hard. Bill mentioned the music. It's one of the reasons it's kind of hard to find this full sketch anymore because of all the music anymore. But start to finish, this is also a very great sketch. And so it hands down goes to the finals.
All right. Synchronized swimming, the 1 seed, moves on easily out of the semifinals. Our other semifinal bracket is number 2, Mormons on the Slopes versus number 6, Little Chocolate Donuts. Kirsten, let's start with you.
Ooh, darn it. Okay. I'm going to think out loud here.
All right.
Mormons has great moments and some great performers, and I enjoy that a lot. The perfection end-to-end of Little Chocolate Donuts, that darn cigarette, there's just so many classic moments in that. Again, even if it aired right now and he had the cigarette, that would actually make it funnier because cigarettes are now just so taboo. It is fake ad SNL at full confidence. Like he knew exactly how to underplay how ridiculous it was. And it was such a commitment to the sincerity of the Wheaties spoof. And for all of these reasons, Little Chocolate Donuts is going to beat Mormons for me.
1-0 Little Chocolate Donuts. Jeremy, what's your take?
I gotta go with Kirsten. Little Chocolate Donuts, just it's one of Belushi's best, and it gets down to what I believe is why we're all here, what the exercise is about. Those Olympic sketch, it has that it really hits that Olympic feel to me more than the Mormon sketch. So I'm going Little Chocolate Donuts.
All right, Brad, how are you feeling?
I said it last round. You guys put Belushi in the finals. Little Chocolate Donuts, easy. Although I will say it was fun to see Dan Aykroyd in a rare non-John Goodman associated cameo. He's really good, but yeah, Little Chocolate Donuts start to finish. It's great.
Bill? Is the number 6 seed going to sweep the number 2 seed?
Yeah, I think when you talk about the history of SNL and what they did in those first 5 years, you guys are familiar with the first 5 years, right?
A little bit.
Yeah. There was something about those commercials and the time and the effort they put in long before digital, long before you can put something together on a computer in 15 minutes. Putting these together with such loving care to the point where people didn't know whether it was a real commercial or not as they came out of the monologue and went to, and this was one of those examples. This was one of those things. I think Jeremy said that, the Wheatie commercials, which were so prevalent at this point, as soon as the Olympics were over, they were doing these Wheaties commercials with the guys or the girls sitting at the table and eating the Wheaties. And this is why I won whatever event. So to have Belushi here doing this was perfection, and I has to move on. I think Danny would be happy to hear that his boy beat him out here.
All right, so Little Chocolate Donuts moves out of the semifinals with a sweep, even though they barely got out of the last round. That one had to go to an extra vote, mine, as the tiebreaker, to get it into the semifinals. So now we're set. Our finals are set. It's the number 1 seed, Synchronized Swimming from season 10, episode 1, versus Little Chocolate Donuts from season 3, episode 6. Jeremy, let's start with you. Who's going to get your vote for best SNL moment?
Yeah, it's fitting because when you guys, and I'm grateful you asked me to come on, I saw the topic. These were the 2 sketches that first hit my mind, so I'm glad that like they're in the finals because these are the top 2 for me. And as tough as this is, because they're both iconic, man, I'm gonna have to go with Little Chocolate Donuts, and the reason why is because I'm gonna give it the edge as far as it went shorter and it got the joke in a shorter amount of time than what Synchronized Swimming had to do. And to me, like, even though Synchronized Swimming, like, that was funny, like, the Little Chocolate Donuts gets the Olympic feel, the athletic feel better. And it also, like, it parodies, like, the Marv Albert voice and just the Wheaties commercial. For what we're looking for, I'm going to go with this as the better, like, Olympic sketch. So, like, I'm going to go with Little Chocolate Donuts.
All right. 1-0 Little Chocolate Donuts. Brad, let's go back to you. How are you feeling?
Not well. This is tough. I wouldn't have ever dreamed that this would have been the final matchup, so I'm completely unprepared to pick one of these 2. I love John Belushi. Anybody who's listened to us knows that. But I keep feeling myself wanting to go Synchronized Swimming, kind of for, and it's not, I'm not arguing, but for the exact opposite reasons that Jeremy chose Little Chocolate Donuts. I think they added so much. I think there's so much more into it. Little Chocolate Donuts is brilliant, but it's kind of a one beat joke that they do exceptionally well. But Synchronized Swimming, they have the brothers, they set it up. Then they add Christopher Guest as the coach. That's another element. Then they show them working out. Then they go back to the pool. The ending is hilarious, which when they're doing their routine and they go underwater and Marty pops back up wearing the life vest. Like, there's all these little things that work. So many quotable lines from it, again, just because it is longer. I think both of these are iconic. I think both of these play at any era of the show. But the fact that Synchronized Swimming is just a bit more fleshed out and there's more to it gives me a subtle edge on it.
All right. 1-1 Synchronized Swimming and Little Chocolate Donuts. Bill?
Put yourself in the mind of when Synchronized Swimming was happening and season 10, episode 1. So all of these people are coming into the show. Now it's obvious, Christopher Guest, what he goes on to do. Marty Short, obviously, but Marty's known for SCTV, but it's kind of a niche show. It's not really seen in the US at that point very much. And so you've got these people getting together during the summer, making this incredible short film. So as an SNL viewer in 1984, who the hell are these guys? Harry Shearer? Didn't he get fired 5 years ago? Like, what's going on here? And to have them come together and collaborate and put this together in such a way that was just brilliantly done. Brad said it. Yeah, I mean, it is one note for Little Chocolate Donuts. So I think I've got to go with Synchronized Swimming here as well.
All right. 2-1 Synchronized Swimming. Kirsten, it's your final vote of the night. Which way is it going?
I am going to echo a lot of what has been said. And Brad, I'm specifically going to build on some things you said here. There is so much world building and character development in Synchronized Swimming. There are moments that seem like nothing, but the fact that it shows the wife with an Amway bag go and knock on a door and like she's doing what she can to provide for the family while he's off doing choreo in the pool. Christopher Guest, his interview saying, regional theater, like, if I have to do Shakespeare in the Park one more time. Like, there's so much to these people that is so beautiful. And if you look at the transcript for this sketch, it's about maybe a half to 2/3 of what was actually in the sketch. And so it's showing you the mastery of these improv actors. It's a classic. It is one of my favorites. I am thrilled that it sounds like it's gonna win. And again, I agree. Little Chocolate Donuts is brilliant, but this is some next level wonder. And I, Gary, you got to agree.
I do agree. I mean, it already won.
I know, but you still got to get the sweep.
Oh, it didn't sweep. Jeremy voted for Little Chocolate Donuts.
Yeah.
The three of you voted for synchronized swimming.
Have we convinced you?
Me? The reason why I go with Little Chocolate Donuts is because, as cool as it is to watch that 10th season, it's so different than what SNL truly is for me. And I think I love what they did, but and compared to everything else, it's like, yeah, synchronized swimming, but with Little Chocolate Donuts, that's SNL to me. That commercial pair, like that beat, where this is almost in a different form. This, to me, like synchronized swimming is like a short film, if you want to compare it with like the Don't Look Back in Anger or White Like Me with Eddie Murphy. They're like a separate category. And that's kind of why I'm going to put the Little Chocolate Donuts over it, because that is, no matter what generation you are, that's SNL. It may look a little fuzzy and different, if you're younger, but that's SNL, where synchronized swimming is something different. It's hilarious, it's classic, but not what SNL is to me.
I would argue that, well, see, you added to me, but I would argue that the moments, the mini films, are absolutely what SNL is. And when a magical one comes along, those are very memorable, and they are iterations of those across the seasons, right? Whether it's ambiguously or it's kind of like any type of series that people are putting together and they're doing it in longer form, become these really magic moments. And they give kind of the more unique thinkers, writers, performers, a vehicle to express, right, themselves in a different way on the show versus just the commercials. They're pretty unique on their own. So I'd say they are still SNL. You're right. It's apples and oranges. It's hard to compare them.
I don't disagree with that. Yeah, it is part of SNL's history, but it's a different category. Like, those aren't things, like you said, they're not commercial parodies are much more consistent, in my opinion, than like the short films.
Yeah, I think that's because they're cheaper and easier, and those
that's part of it. Yeah.
But that doesn't make it better.
I think it makes it better for SNL. Okay. Yeah, I think it makes it better. Yeah, because some of those films are like, oof, like they don't hit. So this one does, though. This one does. And certain commercials don't hit. You're absolutely right. Yeah. But I just think this, to me, is more nails what SNL is. Little Chocolate Donuts.
Yeah.
But I hear you. I do.
I hear you too.
Well, the number one seed prevails. Synchronized swimming beats Little Chocolate Donuts 3-1 in the finals. Brad, you said you did not imagine this would be the finals at all. What were you thinking might be the finals?
I thought Lilyhammer was going to get in. I thought Lilyhammer would beat Donuts, and I thought it would beat Mormons. I thought Lilyhammer would get in. And then I thought swimming would be an easy dunk on that. That's how I figured it would end.
Bill, any big surprises for you?
I thought the finals would be all Catan, so I'm a little surprised that we didn't get that. But no, I mean, I also thought Lilyhammer would go further, as my vote said, because I think that's more memorable. But I understand this, and I mean, if you asked a casual, none of us are casual SNL viewers, these would probably be the two that they mentioned. First off, if you mentioned Olympics, these would be the two things they would talk about. So it only seems fitting that would be the way that it would go.
Kirsten, any surprises for you, good or bad, for sketches you wanted to see and advance and didn't, or vice versa?
I'm really glad that it ended up the way it did, because I love this sketch. I think I have a greater appreciation for Little Chocolate Donuts, actually, because I hadn't seen it in a while, and I've seen it in, kind of reels and such. I just love being able to talk about this stuff and dissect it with you guys. Like, that's my big takeaway, is just, really digging into this because it's so niche and it's so, especially this topic, which is really clever and fun. Like Olympic moments, that it was fun to reacquaint myself with all of these moments. So I love it. I'm just so thrilled. And I don't know how you all have mustaches full time.
Not so easy.
I can't. Yeah. Although I can't imagine that ours sweat as much as that one probably is on your face. Just, yeah.
Yeah, this one's really sweaty. Yeah.
Jeremy, what was your takeaway from this bracket and the way things turned out?
I have to agree with Kirsten that it's always fun doing this. It's always just great to be able to, find your people, and you guys are definitely that for me. So I appreciate it. Happy that Little Chocolate Donuts got that push, because I feel like, I know this audience, like us, wouldn't be this way, but like the first 5 years don't get the recognition as much with younger generations. So to me, this is one of those sketches where if I'm showing someone who's Gen Z, like the first 5 years, this is like on the Mount Rushmore of like funniest sketches. So that's why I kind of was pushing for Little Chocolate Donuts. But I'm still happy with synchronized swimming too. But I'm glad Little Chocolate Donuts got to the finals.
Yeah, this was fun. It was a great topic, as always, with all of you. Thank you for doing this. Let's go around and tell everybody where they can find you, what you want them to know about. Bill, let's start with you.
Well, thank you for having me. I'll echo what Kirsten and Jeremy said. Like, it's always a blast to come on with you guys. These topics are so much fun. I spent the week going through it and looking at these over and over again and dissecting them like this Zapruder film was just fantastic. You can find me most weeks on the Saturday Night Network on the various shows and platforms that we have over there. So check us out. We're covering modern day SNL, and it's just a blast. So thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming, Bill. Appreciate it. Always. Kirsten, what would you like folks to know?
I would love folks to know that if they are in the Toronto area at all, they should come check out a show that we do about 4 times a year called Generation Women. It's an intergenerational storytelling event. There are versions of it throughout the United States. So just look up Generation Women Show and support intergenerational voices, please and thank you. And my mustache is falling off right now.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing. Yes, it was like a mic drop, really.
Jeremy, where can folks find Pop Culture 5, Tables, Ladders, and Conversations?
Yeah.
And Pop Culture 5. Did I say that? Let's make sure.
You did. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. You can find Pop Culture 5 with me and my partner in crime, Mr. Thomas Senna, Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. 3 of you guys have been guests, and we got to make it all 4. Kirsten, Thomas, and I talked yesterday. We really did talk yesterday about wanting to ask you to come on. So when we're done this, we definitely got to have you on the show. So you can find us there. We have a lot of great stuff coming up on Pop Culture 5. We have our Pop Culture Blind Spots. Thomas introduces me to the band Tool, so that was pretty fun. And then we've even have essential 80s music videos coming down the pike too. So with special guest Shari Fesco, who Kirsten, she loves you. So it's awesome with that. And then Tables, Ladders, and Conversations. Me and my guy Tim Lewis, it's a wrestling countdown podcast. So different topics, we give our top 5. This being Black History Month, we have top 5 important Black wrestlers, and then we have a little retrospective on the late great Ernie Ladd, a Black wrestler who a lot of people don't know about, but very historic. Played football and came to wrestling. So that'll be February, and you can check out Tables, Ladders, and Conversations wherever you listen to podcasts, and our YouTube channel as well at Tables, Ladders, and Conversations.
Awesome. Very cool. Thanks, Jeremy.
Appreciate it.
Brad, what do you want people to know?
I just want to know people are very thankful for you guys doing this. We figured we haven't done a tournament talk in a while. And with the Olympics coming up and SNL being off the air for a couple of weeks, we thought it might be a fun thing to do to put something out. So thanks for the 3 of you guys for joining us. And if you don't listen to us normally, you're just tuning in now, we are about 3 or 4 episodes away from finishing up our full trek down the original era of SNL, seasons 1 through 5. So if you haven't already listened, follow along, join in. If you've been listening along, we're almost there. We're almost at the end stretch. So thanks for listening.
So you can start over and listen again. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you to Bill Kenny, Kirsten Ryla, Jeremy Dove, Brad Robinson for the Not Ready for Primetime Project. I'm Gary Seath. Thank you for joining us. And remember, we're not strong swimmers. Thanks for listening to the Not Ready for Primetime Project. Look for us on social media everywhere at NR4PT Project. And please drop us a line to let us know what you think of the shows. And because we're lonely, at nr4ptproject@gmail.com. The Not Ready for Primetime Project team includes Brad Robinson and Gary Seath, and original music by Jacob Sviak. Please remember to rate and review the show wherever you listen or watch. Good night, and have a pleasant tomorrow.